Welcome to my space. Let's take 3 deep breaths together. We're going to gather our energy back on the in-breath, slow down and spiral into your deeper womb space or low belly on the exhale. Deep breath in. Ooh. Deep breath in. Bring your consciousness down with your breath or your hum or the wiggle of your spine into that womb space. Deep breath in. Ooh. Welcome. I work with many, many women in learning how to reconnect themselves to their womb space. And it's shocking how we have been taught to disconnect from our creative life force center. If you have a womb, you are a creatrix. If you've birthed anything in the world, it's because you have this creative life force energy that knows how to create something out of nothing virtually. My journey with my womb has been really interesting. I come from a matriarchal line that has a lot of trauma in the mothers of my mothers of my mothers. And it's a long story that I probably won't go into right now. But the idea being that my mother did want me and had a pretty easy time giving birth to me. So it's not a terrible birth story. But my grandmother did not want my mother and birthed her anyway. She was the final baby of 5, and the trauma in that relationship is huge. And my grandmother's mother was a very harsh woman as well, whose mother died in childbirth. So from that story, I don't know much beyond that in my actual line, but the death of the mother in childbirth, my great great grandmother being tossed around to different families because, and the trauma that ensued because of that, birthing many children, my grandmother being one of them. My grandmother's story, it has a lot of trauma and harshness to it. And then my grandmother birthing 5 babies and bringing tons of pain and heartache into the lives of her children because of her own heartache and pain. So then we've got my mother. CPTSD is huge, but at the time that she was raising me, none of that was talked about. None of that was available. She did the best that she could, and I'm really grateful for her. But coming to my womb, I'm carrying all this trauma from my matrilineal line and feeling it inside of myself. When I was really young, I said to myself, I don't want kids. I don't want to get married. I want to have a career. I want to be by myself. I did not want to carry on the traumas that I felt bubbling inside of me. Of course, I get married at 21. I have a baby right away. And the story of how I have 4 kids is quite interesting. They all have the same father and from the same marriage. But I'll tell that story at another time. It has significance for different reasons. But there I end up after saying for years and years and years, I didn't want children. Here I am with 4. Well, what happens then when my head is telling one story and my body actually does another thing? My life actually is another thing. I felt completely disconnected from my womb, even after I birthed 4 babies from my womb. How is that even possible? So when I started doing love, sex, relationship certification with Layla Martin in 2020, 2020, I think it was, and I started getting really intimate with my womb and what was going on and what stories were held there and what my relationship to my womb was and how my womb was connected to the stories of my mother and my grandmother and my great grandmother and on and on and on. There was a lot for me to hold and breathe through and clear out, and I've got good stories to tell you around that. But one of the biggest pieces that was shocking to me is when I breathed into my womb, when I started really softening and feeling into my womb space. One of the things that I met was this story, I don't want children. And I realized it wasn't even mine. It was my grandmother's, maybe even my great grandmother's story, I don't want children, that came through. My mom wanted me, but I was still carrying the story from my grandmother of I don't want you. So here is this story that I told myself, I don't want children, and then my actual body, and I was it was easy labors, it was easy pregnancies. It was a glorious experience, actually. And yet I was still saying, I didn't really want to be a mother. Why do I have four kids? Now, there's a lot on that too, because in astrology, the house of mothering actually is in the Aquarius sign, which is out of the box, and there's no other planets informing my house of motherhood. So it makes sense that I didn't want to do it traditionally. And believe me, I did not. I am not a traditional mother. Um, but when I dealt with that story, when I reconnected to the truth of my womb and what my womb wanted to do and what my soul is here to bring through, I found the truth that I actually love having the process of being seated with this beautiful potential of creating a life, whether that is the lives of my four beautiful kids, or my business, or my partnerships with the Wild Women's Circle and other things that are brewing. I love this process. I love seeding. I love making love. I love the thing growing inside of me. And I love the birthing process and the juiciness in my pelvis and the juiciness in me being the goddess, the one who creates life, and life moves through me, through my physical body. Once I was able to connect into all that power in my root and womb, instead of only living from heart and head up, I'm unstoppable. Do I have struggle? Yes. Do I have things that I'm still evolving and processing and moving through? And yes. But now that I'm connected, deeply, deeply connected to my cauldron, to my womb space, to my pelvic bowl, to my roots, and I move from my root and womb up through my body into the world, the power that I come with, the creative life force energy that moves through me is so different than when before I was trying to make decisions from up here. I was feeling a lot here. I could be pushed and swayed between thoughts and emotions, and it's just not a stable way of being a powerful woman in the world. Powerful, creative, life force energy moving through the body of a woman. So if you have a womb, and this is for those of you who don't as well, you can learn how to move up and through. And men or people who don't have wombs, um, who identify as women, you can tap into this. Every single body on the planet has the ability to drop into the deeper root and womb space and access this creative life force energy womb that is in within each one of us. So I'm not excluding half of the population here. But if you have a physical womb and you have bled or you bleed, then I'm inviting you to tap in, slow down, meet what is in the stories around your womb. Now, I also have a sexual abuse story. My dad abused me when I was a child. Um, And that was another scary thing to meet when I started dropping down into my womb and working with it and honoring what stories my womb was holding. So It's not easy. I am not saying this process is easy, but if you want to move, to create a new world that's different than the one we're living in, that has community and collaboration and seasonal cycles rather than linear ways of being, that has gentleness and power at the same time, then we need to come back into the wisdom of our wombs. And I'm inviting you to do that. If you need help doing that, I suggest finding practitioners who are trained to hold the womb, the wisdom of the womb, to hold the clearing and the reconnection that will happen as you're meeting your womb space. If you would like to work with me around that, I would be delighted to hold that space with you. I can do that in body work, or we can do that in coaching, or a combination of the two. But you can do it on your own as well. Like, just put your hands on your womb. In fact, let's do it. Let's just say hello to your womb space right now. So slowing down, feeling your sits bones on the chair. You can rock back and forth for a second. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, dropping down into that womb space. And maybe you can't even get down there right now. A lot of women that I start working with at the beginning can't actually even access. That's okay. That's okay. Like you're just starting, right? And you have a lot of grace. So if it feels okay to you, put one hand on your womb space, one hand on your heart center, and you're just saying, hello, body, hello, heart, hello, womb. And if you've never really consciously reconnected to your womb space, if you don't feel like you have a good relationship to your womb or to your bleed or to sex or to birthing, then just say, hello, I would like to build a better relationship. Or hello, maybe hello is all you can say. Breathe in. On the exhale, soften your whole body, soften your face. Relax your legs, your hips, your tailbone, dropping into your womb space, into your cauldron. It is your power center. And if you've already done some of that work and you've been connected to your womb, bring a connection up from womb to heart. Womb and heart are twinned organs. They communicate to each other. Feel the connection. Let the heart feel the support of the womb. Let the womb feel the compassion and tenderness of the heart. Couple more deep breaths. If this feels uncomfortable to you, that's okay. It's just information. Doesn't mean you never need to do this again. It's just the invitation to either be really gentle with yourself in the process of reconnecting to the womb and the root in your creative life force energy, or find a practitioner that can help you make sense of your resistance, or spend lots of time just saying hello. I would like to get to know you. I would like to get to know you, womb. I promise that over time, you will know how to follow those threads into relationship, into deep relationship to your creative life force center, your womb space, the wisdom that is sitting in your cauldron, ready to inform you, to support you, to bring life through you in whatever way you are here to do that. So thank you for being with me. If you have questions or comments that are respectful, please reach out. If you would like to work with me, I would be delighted to have a phone call and see if our work together could support where you're at. And if it doesn't, I'll refer you on to somebody that I think would serve you better. Thanks for being here with me. I will return. I hope that you do too.